Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another upgrades video. In today's upgrades video, we are once again taking a look at my Springfield Range Officer chambered in 9mm. And before we get this video started, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to this video's sponsor and also a longtime channel sponsor, which is Seal One. Seal One makes a wide variety of firearms cleaning and maintenance supplies. They actually also make bow care products, and really I've used their stuff on quite a few products that just need a little bit of corrosion protection or a little bit of lubricant, and they do a really good job. They're bio-based, non-toxic, it smells great, and if you're in the mood for some sort of aerosol, they have those options as well. They have sub-zero temperature stuff, Seal One paste. I've been using this for years, long before the sponsorship here on the channel, and I truly do love it and use it all of the time. They are also giving you guys a massive discount code right now on their website. All you have to do is add the items that you want into your cart, and in the discount code section, put FF-25. That's FF-25, and it's going to save you 25% off of your order, and it's going to let Seal One know that you came to their website from this video. The joys of bringing another 1911 back to the review table here on Firearm Freedom. I have just embraced my wonderful love of 1911s at this point. You guys know that by now, and I think many of you secretly, a lot of you closet 1911 fans do enjoy my 1911 content. But originally, it's been years since I've broken out the Springfield Range Officer in 9mm, and I just never really enjoyed shooting it in its original configuration. I hated the target sights that came on it. I made a comment about that in the first impressions video, and ultimately, I just never really liked the way that the gun recoiled in comparison to a .45. You guys that shoot 1911s frequently know and understand the .45 1911s have a very nice push, and it's not stout really, it's just a different type of recoil, and that's really what I'm used to when it comes to a 1911. But in a 9mm variation, it's not high recoiling, but it's sluggish in a very strange way. So that's another reason why I just was not a huge fan of bringing out the 9mm Range Officer. But I was really in the mood to do some upgrades to this and make it just a more shootable 1911 for me. And that's exactly what I did. For the upgrades, I have now Wilson Combat double diamond wood grips, and these wood grips look so freaking good on there. I actually scored these on eBay for about 40 bucks. So I wasn't able to find these anywhere else online. eBay for the win on that one. And then I also have a Wilson Combat bulletproof magwell, and that is just their model name there. I think I paid, I don't know, you can find these things for about 160 bucks. This one, surprisingly, did not need any fitting whatsoever. I just dropped out the original mainspring housing. I should note that this is a magwell in combination with a mainspring housing. So this is about as durable and bomb-proof of a way that you're ever going to get a flared magwell, which is what I wanted. You have really nice aggressive checkering on the rear portion of the mainspring housing, so I dig that quite a bit. The flared magwell does its job incredibly well. It really did speed up reloads significantly at the range, but what I like about these Wilson Combat magwells is they're not excessive. It's not going to change the overall profile of the pistol at all. It's still very streamlined. You could carry this without issue, but it adds a lot of functionality to the pistol. So I really enjoyed that quite a bit, and I've had very good luck with Wilson magwells. Again, sometimes you're going to need to do some fitting on these mainspring housings to get them to fit. 1911s remind me a lot of AKs in the way that you have to kind of fit and form parts and pieces that you want to swap out on these pistols. But in this case, again, it was a drop-in fit, which is excellent. A little bit of a side note, if you are going to swap out grips and you're going with a flared magwell, just make sure you go with the flat bottom grips, and these are just not beveled in. As you can see, obviously, if you beveled in these grips, you would have a little bit of a weird look. It's of course going to work just fine, but just keep that in mind when you're searching for new grips online. And for kind of the showstopper, what really changed this pistol for me was the sights. So these are Heine sights. I can't tell you the exact model of these because I just can't remember, and they have quite a few models on their website, but this is the figure 8 tritium double dot sights. So what you have here is a tritium dot in the front, and then you also have a tritium dot in the rear, and you again line it up kind of like a figure 8 with one dot on top of the other, and other than that, it's a serrated blacked out rear sight. Now, Heine is essentially one of the only companies out there that make a Springfield range officer specific rear sight for 1911s. Now, if you guys don't already know, you can kind of tell from here, Springfield uses a very interesting step down method here for their rear sight on these pistols, and it is a doozy. So you got a step down here, a dovetail here, a step up at an angle, and then also an angled step down in the rear. So of course, not standard Novak cut. I did have to call on my very good friend and gunsmith to help me fit that rear sight and also the front sight. Now the front sight is just dovetailed in as they normally would be, but there was a little bit of fitting required, and really when it comes to 1911s, almost always a sight set is going to need to be fitted on these pistols. I've rarely ever seen a quote-unquote drop-in 1911 sight without needing some type of fitting. So just keep that in mind. If you're not comfortable with fitting those sights, you might want to bring it to a competent gunsmith and check it out there. Now, I did get a bunch of new magazines. That was another just complaint that I have. I have so many 45 ACP 1911 mags that it was just, I just didn't want to deal with buying a bunch of new magazines. But again, in light of this review, I went ahead and just filled up my mag bin of 9mm 1911 mags. These are the factory mags that come with it. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, now with the magwell, even though it does not touch either side or the rear, these do not fit. Now, they will lock up into position, but I was not able to get this freaking mag out at the range once it locked into place. And I actually had to pry it and use leverage with my Leatherman and a bunch of other things. It was a mess to try to get this mag out, so I'm really not sure what the deal is there. And I've had some weird hit or miss reliability with Springfield factory mags, so there was only 2 of them. I'm not really too worried about it. What I ended up moving to was the Wilson Combat 10-round 9mm magazines and the Metgar 10-round 9mm 1911 magazines. Both of these performed flawlessly. And I do want to mention that because these got very hit or miss reviews online of working in certain 1911s. 9mm are tough. They are not going to be as reliable in the 1911 platform, in my experience, as 45 variations. And that just, it is what it is. Buy with caution. I'd buy maybe 1 of these and just see if it works. But these were 100% reliable and got great reviews online, and they're about half the price of the Wilson Combats. Metgar has had great track records with their magazines. My only gripe with these is the base plate on the bottom is god-awful. It is absolutely hideous, and unfortunately, in the pistol, it sticks out. It looks really bizarre hanging out the bottom, and that's unfortunate. The Wilson Combat one with the same capacity just looks... It looks very good in this pistol. So as far as storage goes, or if I wanted to present it for a photo or whatever, I would use the Wilson Combat mags. For really, again, for carrying, range use, defense use, whatever, these Metgar mags are perfect. I wish they just kind of did the magwell a little closer to the Wilson Combat. I understand what they did there. They wanted to make it easier to pull out, and, you know, it is what it is. But again, reliability, no issues whatsoever with either of these magazines. And as far as the pistol itself, no issues whatsoever. This thing ran 100% at the range. And the only thing I also should mention in full disclosure that was sent to me was the Heine sights. Everything else I purchased on my own. And the pistol, really, what I love about 1911s, and this is just me personally, this is the ideal upgrade package for me. A flared magwell, some nice wood grips. I still have my skateboard tape up in the front, and that works out really well, and some good sights. That is about all you need to make a 1911 just perfect. That's kind of the ideal form, in my opinion, that it can take, and I think it looks really, really good. And shooting the pistol at the range, again, it really shined. The flared magwell was excellent. I had just so much of a faster, smoother time reloading the pistol at about 500 rounds downrange at that particular range day. And again, I really began to be at home on this 9mm 1911. So I'm excited to get it back to the range. Now with having a bunch of magazines, it's a lot easier to just load everything up and just have a good, fun range day. And honestly, now that 45 is getting so freaking expensive to buy and shoot a lot of, it's really nice to have a 9mm variation of the platform that I can train with, get good reps in with, and not have to break the bank when it comes to just buying 45, which is awful these days. But guys, that is gonna wrap up this video. This pistol is excellent. I love the look of it, and I think it is just a gorgeous 1911 now, and Springfield still continues to impress me with their 1911 platforms. If you guys have any other questions about this pistol or anything else on the channel, please put them down below in the comment section, and you guys know I absolutely will get back to you. While you're down there, head up to the description, check out the links to support the channel, and as always, stay tuned for more great videos coming soon.